with that be, let's hop right into this. So again, I do want to emphasize to any viewers on this, we do not have inside sources. We are not insiders. We don't have sources.
Do we?
To have a source.
Do we? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We definitely don't. Or do we?
We know people that play in the NFL, but we don't communicate with them regularly enough, and we definitely don't ask about anything going on within the league. So we won't claim to have insiders. So, but I did see early in the week, PFF posted a mock draft where they had Caleb Williams going number 1 to Arizona. Now, I'm sure in the article they kind of mentioned that, they'd probably trade the pick and whoever get it would draft Caleb Williams. But it did create an interesting idea. Should Arizona actually trade Kyler Murray and then just draft Caleb Williams? We did put a poll up early in the week, and while it is a small sample size, actually 54.5% of you guys watching said that they should actually trade the pick, with 36% said they should trade the pick, 54.5% said they should trade Kyler, and the remaining said other. So before we get into, why don't you tell me a little bit about what your thoughts are about that idea? How would you think that would work? Do you think it's a decent idea? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, given the scenario, if the Cardinals do indeed get the number 1 pick in the 2024 NFL draft, I'm in the camp that says I think they should not trade Kyler Murray. I think they should keep him and trade the number 1 pick. And here's why. So Kyler's contract is a pretty big concern for me regarding a possible trade. I know we looked at some numbers before the June 1st, 2024 deadline, right? If he was traded before June 1st, that dead cap for the Cardinals would be $81 million. Okay. Secondly, if he was traded after that June 1st date, the dead cap for 2024, the hit would be right here in my notes, $13 million. And then in 2025, the dead cap hit would be 33, right? So the Cardinals would save $35 million in dead cap if they trade him after June 1st. But how likely would a post-June 1st trade be, given the fact that most of these trades would happen before the NFL draft, either before or during the NFL draft, right? Which is well before June. So they would, with that theory, right? If they wanted to draft Caleb, they could draft him, and then keep Kyler on roster till June 1st, and hopefully find a trade partner after June 1st, which, given the size of his contract, I feel like would be fairly hard to do. And why not just keep him then, save all that cap hit, and just build around Kyler? Dude, trade back Marvin Harrison Jr. is right there. Pair him up. You just drafted Paris Johnson Jr. with the 6th overall pick in this previous draft, right? Why not just keep him and just move forward from there? But Emmett, I'll turn it over to you. What are your thoughts regarding Kyler's future with the Cardinals if they do indeed get the number 1 overall pick?
Yeah, I'm going to put my GM roster hat on here, and I'm going to have a little fun with this. And I know this isn't what NFL teams do, but I'm going to have a little fun with it. If it were me, I would trade Kyler. I know you went through the numbers, and it would be a post-June 1st cut or trade. So while that may be difficult to maybe facilitate, and by difficult, I specifically mean you're not going to get the full value that you would if you're trading him beforehand. But I mean, you could still probably get a 2025 first-round pick for Kyler if you trade him after June 1st. I mean, he's still 25, 26. He's still, a good quarterback, and I know these sound like reasons why you wouldn't want to trade him, but I'm going to go into the reasons why I would. I still think he's an electric and exciting quarterback, and I think there's going to be some team out there that's desperate. I mean, one quick example, look at the Packers. What if Jordan Love doesn't play out this year? Do you think they would be willing to trade a first in 2025 for Kyler Murray?
Maybe.
But this is why I would think the trade doesn't sound as crazy as possible. Because again, like you said, $33 million in dead cap hit for 2025. That's a lot. But now your quarterback is now on a rookie contract. So you're saving so much money that way. For the first year, it's going to be an increased cost. But for the remainder of the rookie contract, you're going to be saving so much more than you would with Kyler. Kyler's costing, I believe, is about an average about $50 million a year. So, especially if you're trying to rebuild a roster, that's no longer a huge amount that you have to deal with. It's also a new regime. There's a new GM and it's a new head coach. So they have to go throughout this year already with Kyler and see what they have in him and see if they like it. But they also could very easily cut bait the following year and just have to pay $33 million.
That's fair.
So, and they might want their own guy, especially if we're already hearing the comparisons about, what Caleb Williams is going to be the next Mahomes, which we can discuss at a later date. I think that's a little bit of a lofty kind of comparison here. Give the kid some breathing room here, but yeah. I do believe he is a talented quarterback. So I don't think I don't think there's anything Kyler Murray can do that Caleb Williams doesn't have the potential to do.
Yeah.
At $40 million cheaper a year. There were already focus concerns with Kyler in the new contract that he signed. Remember, they had to put he must watch a certain amount of hours of film every week that they had to go back and revise because it became a whole big thing. Mm-hmm. There's been constant jokes about it, about, he's on Call of Duty or whatever the game is.
Yeah.
So you already have those kind of concerns about Kyler's mental makeup. In the last 2 seasons, he's been missing games. And, he's already coming off an ACL tear. And this is from Ian Rappaport, don't be surprised, and this is a direct quote, don't be surprised if we do not see him to start the season or maybe even by the midway point. The injury has to heal perfectly. So we're already going to be missing another half year of Kyler Murray. And then after he comes back, we don't know what kind of player he's going to be. Is he going to have the same running ability? Is it going to take him another year to get back healthy fully to what he was? You're still paying $45 to $55 million a year for that.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I was going to say, to your point too, with the new GM and head coach, Kyler will have to prove that he's the guy, right? For the last portion of the season. Yeah, it's tough.
The injury concerns are definitely starting to pile up a little more. He's missed games the last couple of years. And this also further may allude to Arizona getting their 1 overall pick if their starting quarterback misses over half the season. And here's some interesting facts I was kind of looking about him too. He's only had 1 season with a passer rating over 100. 1 season. It was 100 almost exactly. His average for passer rating is 92.5, which isn't bad, but it's not $50 million a year good. $50 million a year for context is Patrick Mahomes, is like Lamar Jackson. It's going to be what Joe Burrow is worth. Would you put Kyler Murray in that range? I don't think I personally would.
That's a good point, Emmett. Why do you even get that massive contract to even begin with? That deal was huge.
He's an exciting quarterback. He's good for the first half. This is just as a 49ers perspective, from my understanding. I don't watch every Arizona game. But my understanding is he's great in the first half of the season. By the second half, he seems to fall off. And it was a running trend with Arizona under Cliff Kingsbury as well. There was the 1 year they went, I think they started the year 8-0 and then ended up missing the playoffs or got knocked in the wild card round or something like that.
I think that was 2021.
I believe so. I believe you have that right. He also has an 84 touchdown and 41 interception rate. He's never even had a 4,000-yard passing season. So when you start really injuries. He missed, I think it was 3 games 2 years ago, and he missed 5 games this past year. The closest he's come was, I think, 3,900 yards in 2020, which is so far his best season, best passer rating, best yards, everything. Yeah. He also doesn't run as much as I thought. He averages, I believe, is about around 400 yards rushing. So again, when you start really looking at Kyler Murray in his entirety, is he worth $50 million? I don't think so. Can he do anything Caleb Williams can't do for you? I don't think so. So if it were me, I would be willing to eat the $33 million in dead cap hit for the 1 season. And then you have a great quarterback who can do everything you've had plus maybe more on a cheaper deal anyway. And you're still getting a first-round pick back in 2025, more than likely. That would be my more than likely guess. I don't know what the direct compensation is. You can get to the nitty-gritty, but even if you get a 2nd and a 5th, right, that still helps with a new, young, rebuilding team.
Yeah.
Versus a quarterback with a $50 million cap hit, who by the time this team gets going might be 30.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, I don't know. I think that's my thoughts on that. And I'll be curious to see. Again, we kind of saw what everyone else's thoughts were, but I'd be curious to see how it really plays out. Do I think they really will trade Kyler? I would be surprised if they did. Genuinely, I would be surprised. But if I were building a team, that would probably be the decision I would make.